morning, friends. Greetings and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I'm your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. Registered pharmacist number 12275. I specialize in using nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and often deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your health and vitality and well-being and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body. You are more and more knowledgeable. And you know you can overcome any health issue. That's why we're here every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 29 years of practicing pharmacy, I have seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes and hypertension and obesity and all manner of skin diseases, psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, acne, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds, recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle, but what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure. Because the human biological system, the human body, is a healing system. It's a regenerating system. It is designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis. And while some folks may call that healing, renewing, regenerating system a miracle, it really is just the way the body works. If you have questions about health and nutrition or prescription drugs, we welcome your phone calls. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you have questions about the longevity products or formulations, or if you have a success story you'd like to share, or if you just want to contribute to the conversation, 844-236-6010 is our number today and every day on The Bright Side. If you'd like to purchase any of the longevity products you hear recommended on the program, or join the Bright Side Ben team, love to have you on our team. If you want to make some money selling longevity products, or if you just want to help spread the word about how important a good nutritional supplement program can be, or if you want to get your products at the wholesale price for a one-time $25 fee, you can become an affiliate, and you can call the Bright Side Ben phone team. They can tell you all about it. They're at 866-735-2470, or you can head over to my websites, brightsideben.com or criticalhealthnews.com or pharmacistben.com. We update regularly with blog posts as well as news stories. Pharmacistben.com, criticalhealthnews.com, and brightsideben.com. If you want to purchase any of our Truth Treatment products, including our retinol 5% gel, head over to truthtreatments.com. And if you're interested in checking out my Facebook posts, we post skincare blips, blurbs, little pieces, little tips, and do-it-yourself kinds of things on my Facebook page, The Truth with Ben. I'm all filled up on my personal Facebook page, but if you go to The Truth with Ben Facebook page, you can sign up on or like it, or I don't know how you get hooked up on that one. But if you do friend me, I guess you would say, you'll get notified when we post, which we do pretty regularly at the Truth with Ben Facebook page. Okay, we're talking skin pigmentation, hyperpigmentation actually, or inappropriate pigmentation, melasma, dark spots. The most important thing to understand is that excessive pigmentation on the outside represents some kind of burden on the inside. And yes, I know there are zillions of skin lightening products. Talked a couple weeks ago about Beverly Hills MD using kojic acid and kakadu or kakadu plum. I always have a hard time saying that. Kakadu plum and all these weird ingredients to get rid of pigment on the outside. Forget it. Don't waste your money. When a doctor does, when somebody who's not involved in the skincare business, a marketer, a bookkeeper, or somebody who owns a skincare company promotes these kinds of products, that's one thing. But when a doctor does it, when a dermatologist does it, that's just egregious and that's nasty. There's two ingredients and two ingredients only that will lighten your skin from a topical standpoint in a non-toxic fashion, and that's vitamin C and vitamin A. And you'll read about all kinds of other things, and I know they're out there, licorice and kakadu plum and kojic acid and arbutin, and we've talked about a lot of these. They don't work. Let's put it simply. They don't work. Not with any significance. Now, hydroquinone will work, but that's toxic. From a non-toxic perspective, it's vitamin C and vitamin A, period. But it's not an external condition. It's an internal condition. We don't hyperpigment unless there are predisposing conditions internally. This is so important because we got a problem inside the body, and you can paint the skin or correct the skin on the outside however you want, but you still got the problem on the inside. And it's not the sun's fault either. We don't hyperpigment from the sun unless there are predisposing conditions internally. Little kids don't hyperpigment, and they play out in the sun all day long. Now, the stress system, as we've said, is headquartered in the adrenal glands. Yesterday, we left off the program talking about fire, biological fire. These days, scientists call it oxidation, but either way, fire or oxidation, it's facilitated in the body by the adrenal glands, which play the key role in the body when it comes to responding to survival threat or emergency. When there's a greater need for energy, we're in some kind of a survival situation, whether it's perceived, whether it's psychological, or whether it's real. The adrenal glands will increase oxidation, increase fire, which fuels activity. Oxidation equals fire. Any fire, whether it's in the body or whether it's in a building, is a classic example of oxidation. Oxygen fuels fires, and if you want to put a fire out, you rob it of oxygen, or you anti-oxidize it. Firemen will use sand or water, sometimes foam, to put out a fire, to anti-oxidize a fire. In the body, vitamin C or vitamin E or other nutritional chemicals, lots of them in plants, or antioxidants. That's like biological sand or biological water or biological foam, and it puts out a biological fire. That's what antioxidation is about, putting out a fire. Oxygen burns, or oxygen stimulates burning, enhances or accelerates burning, and has to be controlled, whether we're addressing a fire in a building or a fire in a body. On the other hand, you need fire. Fire is important for doing work. Biological fire we're talking about, and it has to be harnessed in some way. So oxidation is not only a problem, it's also important. It's a mixed bag. Oxidation can burn, but oxidation also energizes. And this is how the adrenal glands work. They stimulate oxidation, stimulate fire. In the nerve cells, this oxidation increases the firing of the nervous system, which is obviously important for getting us out of a predicament. In the muscle cells, oxidation increases muscle contraction so we can run, so we can fight. Oxidation in organs and oxidation in cells, burning, fire in cells, amplifies cellular responses and cellular activities. But fire does work, but it also burns. It's a balance. Too much adrenal fire can cause adrenal burnout or adrenal fatigue, and it's something a lot of people are dealing with. In the book Fat, Fuzzy, and Frazzled, Dr. Richard Frame talks about adrenal burnout, or also some people call it adrenal fatigue. He links it to obesity. Under conditions of stress, the body will protect itself with fat. Fat represents a protection, especially against famine. Not that there has been a famine for a while, but our body doesn't know that. Our body doesn't know that there's a candy bar machine 20 yards away. There's a 7-Eleven every block. Our body doesn't know that. Our body sees stress. Our body perceives stress as being famine. At least one of the ways that the body perceives stress is as famine. And if you're trying to lose weight but you can't, if you're trying to lose weight but you've been on all kinds of diets, if you're trying to lose weight but you've been exercising and dieting and using nutritional supplements and you just can't drop the pounds, guaranteed your body thinks it's under stress or under duress. Your body's protecting itself. Emotional and mental issues, emotional and mental problems focusing. These are all manifestations of a rerouting of blood from the front part of your brain where you think and where you concentrate to the back part of your brain where you run, where you respond reflexively. The reptilian brain. Jitteriness, adrenal fatigue, or adrenal hormones can stimulate jitteriness. Adrenal emergency hormones give us energy, but jumpy energy. Fat, fuzzy, and frazzled. These are all related to excess adrenal activation or long-term adrenal activation. Adrenal activation is important. It's important for getting us out of a jam. It's important for emergencies, but it's the long-term, over and over and over, chronic adrenal activation. That's where we get into problems. But there's lots you can do, lots and lots you can do. And hyperpigmentation, that's a manifestation of adrenal activation. But there's lots you can do internally to help reduce the appearance of hyperpigmentation, in addition to topically to eliminate the dark spots that show up on the skin. Okay, we are back. back on the bright side. Thanks for joining us. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific, 10 to 11 Central, and 24/7 on brightsideben.com, also pharmacistben.com and criticalhealthnews.com. We update both websites, brightsideben.com and pharmacistben.com, with blog posts and news stories regularly, so you want to check in with those. And of course, if you want to purchase any of the longevity products, you can purchase them right off the websites also. You can call the Brightside Ben phone team at 866-735-2470. You can order products that way as well, and sign up to join the Brightside Ben team at 866-735-2470 or off brightsideben.com, criticalhealthnews.com, or pharmacistben.com. We're talking hyperpigmentation, but really we're talking about the adrenal glands and the stress system. That's the way it is on the bright side. We've been talking about skin now for months, but really we're talking about the internal conditions that lead to skin conditions. And this has to do with overall health. Once you start to change the internal milieu of the body with nutrition and stress management and controlling your sugar and stabilizing your digestive system, not only are you going to have beautiful skin, not only are you going to eliminate or at least reduce and prevent wrinkles, but you're also going to increase and improve longevity. You're also going to reduce the symptoms of autoimmunity. You're also going to decrease the likelihood of chronic degenerative diseases. So we're not just talking skin here. We're talking everything. By controlling the milieu of the body internally and using psychological, mental, spiritual, and emotional strategies, we can improve every marker of skin health, and you don't need a doctor. I don't know how many times I could say this. It's so important, you guys. You don't need a doctor. When we figure this thing out, there's going to be a lot of doctors selling pizza and delivering pies to us because we don't need them. Nah, for surgeons, yes. Trauma, yes. For mechanical issues, yes. But for biochemical, lifestyle, diseases of civilization, which is basically what we're dealing with here, we don't need a middleman. Medicine means middle. A medical man is a middleman. Just like they used to have priests in the old days as middlemen between us and God, now we have medical men between us and the healing divine force. We don't need it. When it comes to skin conditions, you don't need a dermatologist. When it comes to hyperpigmentation, focus on the inside of the body. It's not the sun either. That's what the doctors will tell you. The main purpose, it says right here, I'm reading here from Zoe Draelis, who's a very well-known dermatologist. She writes all kinds of stuff for medical professionals, that is. Zoe Draelis, Draelos, if you want to look her up. She's got all kinds of books for medical professionals. I got a bunch of them myself. Reading from Zoe Draelis, Skin Lightening Challenges. Quote, "There is no doubt that the best method of skin lightening is avoiding sun." What? That's the dermatologist's take. Anyway. Adrenal activation is involved in lots of yucky stuff in the body, excessive adrenal activation. Yes, your adrenal glands are important for emergencies, but chronic, long-term adrenal activation is behind lots of crises. The adrenal glands increase oxidation in muscles and in nerves for getting the body out of emergency survival situations. The adrenal glands modify blood flow, circulatory changes that are an effect of the adrenal response can cause hypertension. In fact, that's the main way to deal with hypertension and high blood pressure. Doctors will tell you that 80% of hypertension is called essential. That is, we don't know what causes it. Well, I'm telling you what causes it. Excessive adrenal stress. The adrenal glands regulate blood flow. Low blood pressure, high blood pressure, all of these should be considered adrenal issues first. If you have a hypertensive issue, if you have high blood pressure, focus on relaxing the body and adrenal health as well. The adrenals control the tone of the muscles, especially the heart muscle and the digestive muscle, increasing muscle tension in the heart, decreasing digestive muscle tone. All of these are parts of adrenal activation. Constipation, diarrhea, problems with the digestive system, absorbing nutrients, all of these can follow or be secondary to adrenal activation. The adrenal glands are important or play a significant role in the clotting of blood. Clotting of blood is another emergency situation or a manifestation of an emergency situation. How many people are on these nasty blood-thinning drugs? Now they have a whole, it used to just give you warfarin or Coumadin. Now there's a whole bunch of drugs that you can choose from if you want to thin the blood. Clotting blood is a classic sign of a body in distress. That's why after you have surgery, you get a blood thinner. After you have a surgical procedure, an operation, the body is freaked out. Body doesn't know it just had an operation. It thinks it's being eaten. So it clots the blood to protect itself. Clotting the blood protects the body from hemorrhaging, from bleeding to death. It's a manifestation of adrenal activation. Relax the body and blood flow will stabilize. Relax the body and the blood will thin. Oxygen is one of the all-time greatest non-toxic blood thinners there is. When was the last time you got a prescription for oxygen? When was the last time you got a prescription for deep breathing if you had blood clotting? If you are on a blood thinner and you start practicing your deep breathing techniques, you're going to be able to wean yourself off that blood thinner, or at least lower your dose. And blood thinning drugs are incredibly toxic. Long-term adrenal stimulation is behind the epidemic of coagulation, blood clotting, that we're dealing with. It's behind the billions and billions of dollars that we spend through taxes, through insurance, through Obamacare, and out of pocket for Plavix and Pradaxa and Xarelto, and all of these other biologics and high-tech blood-thinning drugs that have made drug companies and drug company executives incredibly wealthy. If that sounds evil and anti-humanity, it is. If you're thinking how devious and twisted drug company CEOs and drug companies are and make millions of dollars on our misery, millions of dollars in bonuses, tens of millions of dollars a year. That's what these CEOs are making. Tens of millions of dollars a year in bonuses and salaries, because human beings are so freaked out by the foods we're eating and the culture we're living in that our adrenal glands are clotting our blood so significantly we got to be drugged out. We got to be pharmaceuticalized. If you're thinking that it's devious, if you're thinking it's twisted, if you're thinking it's anti-humanity, it is. One of the most obvious examples of hyperadrenal activity are the unpleasant symptoms of menopause: hot flashes, anxiety, insomnia, hypertension, weight issues, emotional issues. All of these are like a checklist of adrenal activation. If you want to know what it's like to have the symptoms of adrenal activation or excessive adrenal activation are, just think of menopausal symptoms. That's exactly a checklist, one by one, of adrenal activation. So what does that tell you? Well, if you're going through menopause, you're going through the transition, and you're dealing with insomnia, you're dealing with high blood pressure, you're dealing with blood sugar problems, relax the body. I mean, this should be such good news. Get a massage. A massage is like medicine. A massage is the best medicine. If I was president, I wouldn't have national health care. I'd have national massage insurance, where every American gets a massage once a week or twice a week. We'd have a lot of happy massage therapists and a lot of happy citizens. If you're going through the menopausal change, relax the body. Focus on adrenal health. Now, there's lots of nutrients you can use for adrenal health issues. I'll tell you what those are here. Probably get to those tomorrow, the next day. Infertility, by the way, that's another example of adrenal stress. As many couples know, it can be difficult to conceive a baby. According to the National Infertility Association, yet another health association, almost 12% of women have received infertility services in their lifetime. 1 in 8 couples have trouble getting pregnant. Nearly 12% of women between the ages of 15 and 44 have impaired fertility. And once again, you're talking about the adrenal glands. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. We're coming back with your phone calls on the bright side. 844-236-6010 is our number. Don't go away. From the journal Fertility and Sterility, publication of the American Society of Reproductive Medicine, women who participate in a mind-body program for stress reduction while undergoing fertility therapy, fertility treatment, have a significantly higher pregnancy rate than those who don't. 52% versus 20%. Quote, the intersection of stress and fertility is a controversial one, but we do know that stress can reduce the probability of conception, unquote, said principal investigator Alice Domar, PhD, OBGYN. Where have you heard that before? You don't need a doctor to tell you this. You don't need me to tell you this. It's just common sense. When the body is under stress, it's not going to make a baby because the body is not stupid. Human beings are stupid. We'll make a baby, or we'll try to make a baby no matter what our conditions are, no matter what our financial conditions, our mental conditions, our home life is. But the body's not stupid. The body's way smarter than we are. And if there is some kind of burden, emotional, psychological, physiological burden, it ain't making a baby. Now, you can force it to make a baby with drugs and IVF, in vitro fertility, in vitro fertilization, etc. But the body doesn't want to make a baby. It's going to be a lot tougher. Anyway, we'll continue talking about the adrenal connection to infertility, the adrenal connection to hypercoagulation, blood clotting, the adrenal connection to skin issues and melasma and hyperpigmentation tomorrow. And then we'll talk about nutritional strategies, wonderful nutrients that you can use internally as well as topically to help reduce hyperpigmentation, keep your skin beautiful, young, and youthful looking. And of course, if you want topical strategies or topical products, you can head over to truthtreatments.com. truthtreatments.com. Take a look at our vitamin C and vitamin A retinol products. All right, 844-236-6010 is our number. We got a full board of calls here. Let's go to Frank in PA. Thanks for holding on for 40 minutes there, my friend. What's going on?
Oh, thank you very much, Ben, if I may call you Ben.
Yes.
I had to go to the emergency room about a month ago. We were on vacation in Scotland. Shortness of breath. I couldn't walk but a few feet. I could stand, and I was given a diuretic, and after about an hour after I was given a diuretic, I started to feel much better, and over the 5 weeks since then, I've had no symptoms. However, I was diagnosed several times now with aortic valve stenosis.
Okay.
And I've been told by 5 different cardiologists, all allopathic, of course, conventional medicine, that I must have surgery, and very soon.
Okay.
Now,
well,
I'm hoping that there's a formulation,
yes.
an
yes.
formulation. But my concern, before you answer me, is they told me is there any way of speaking to someone who's had experience with a protocol and how fast it might work?
I'm just going to give you common sense, Frank. I'm not going to. All I'm going to tell you is the logic of how this works, and I'm going to let you come up with your own answers once you hear the logic of how everything works. Okay? That's how I like to operate on the bright side. I got a call yesterday from a gal, and she got a little upset with me because I told her I don't want to just give you a recipe because you're smart. Frank, you're not a dummy. I don't believe human beings are dummies. I believe that once I tell you how this whole thing works, you can take care of the protocol yourself. All right, I'll give you some suggestions, and I'll help you out. I'll guide you through the process. But once you understand the logic, you'll see how simple it is. If you can understand your plumbing at home, you can understand your body. The body is a hemodynamic system. It's based on fluid dynamics, hemodynamics in the body, fluid dynamics in physics. It's the movement of fluid, or hemo means blood, the movement of blood or the movement of fluid. That's what everything is in the body. It's all plumbing. And if you can understand your sink and your toilet, you can understand your body. Aortic valve stenosis is when the vessels, the circulation to the heart is cut off. Stenosis means a narrowing. Fancy word for narrowing. Aortic valve stenosis means there's a narrowing of the blood of the circulatory system that goes into the heart, and the heart is running out of oxygen. Does that make sense so far?
Yes, I've actually researched.
Well, let me finish, bro. Let me finish just a little bit, okay? Let me just finish. So what we want to do is we want to oxygenate the heart. That's your strategy. And that means improving the circulation plumbing, the valve plumbing. You got a plumbing problem. The blood's not flowing to the heart correctly, and your heart is suffocating. Are you with me? That's what the shortness of breath is, by the way.
Right.
Are you with me? So they gave you diuretic because they probably suspected there was some kind of blood pressure issue, and there very well could be. But your problem, first and foremost, is oxygen. Oxygen, oxygen, oxygen. The last thing you ever want to do is have a surgical procedure, especially in your heart, unless you're having a major emergency and you're not in that condition yet. So first thing you got to do right away, today, now, as soon as you hang up the phone, start slow, deep breathing practices. Now, are you hypertensive? You have high blood pressure? Do you know?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's being controlled by...
No, I just want to know. I want this.
Okay.
Follow along with me here, okay? Do you have a blood pressure cuff?
No.
Get one. Everybody should get one if they're dealing with any kind of health challenge, because it allows you to do biofeedback, to monitor yourself. This is the neat thing about a blood pressure cuff. I don't have hypertension, but I always take my blood pressure just to kind of I want to know how my behaviors and how my activities are affecting my blood pressure. It's just diagnostic. So what you do is get a blood pressure cuff. You can get one off Amazon. Get one called the Omron 10, I think, Omron. It's real easy to use. You just put the cuff on and press a button, and it kind of does the thing where it squeezes your arm, and then it relaxes, and then it gives you a blood pressure reading. You can get a blood pressure reading in 3 minutes at home. It'll cost you $60 or $70 for the machine. It's a great value. Take your blood pressure and then practice slow deep breathing for 3 minutes, and then take your blood pressure again, and guaranteed you'll see your blood pressure drop. That's the first thing you need to do. Now, then and you want to do that right away, and you want to do it throughout the day, and you especially want to do it at least once or twice a day. But throughout the day is a great way to do it when you're in rush hour, when you're waiting in line at the bank. And when I say slow deep breathing, I mean 15 seconds in through the nose, 15 seconds out through the nose. And you probably can't do it that long, but you want to work your way up to it. That comes out to a full breath every 30 seconds, two breaths a minute. All right? That's first and foremost. Then the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start using nutrients and dietary strategies that keep that valve open, that keep the blood supply moving to the heart, and also keep the blood supply and the circulation moving throughout the entire body. There's a lot of nutrients to use, and I'll tell you a few in a second, but first and foremost, recognize that sugar and insulin are the major enemies, the major physical enemies to the circulatory system. So reducing your sugar is very important, and also using sugar metabolizing nutrients is very important. That means bread and pasta and potatoes and desserts and fruit juice and soda pop, and I'm sure you know all the foods I'm talking about here. And by the way, there's a good chance you're dealing with diabetes or some kind of dysglycemia, messed up blood sugar, and that will correct that. And then you're also going to want to use nutrients that help stabilize the blood sugar. And interestingly, and this will make perfect sense to you based on everything I just said, the nutrients that help you with your blood sugar are also nutrients that help you with your circulatory system. So you take care of you kill two birds with one stone. You'll stabilize your blood sugar and you'll improve circulation. The B vitamins, especially niacin. I would be using timed release niacin if I were you, Frank, maybe 100 to 200 milligrams a day. Make sure you're on the Healthy Start Pack. That'll give you your basic 90 essential nutrients. Make sure you're using magnesium. If you'll get some in the Beyond OsteoFX, but I would be taking a little extra magnesium, around 2,000 milligrams a day of magnesium. Again, it's good for sugar, and it's also good for the circulatory system. Don't forget vitamin C. It's unbelievably important for the circulatory system because it's water soluble. We pee it out. Most people are deficient. 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams minimum of vitamin C. You also want to make sure you're using your electrolytes in addition to magnesium, potassium, sodium, calcium. These are electrical nutrients that are also important for the circulatory system and the blood sugar system. Hang on, there's a couple more things, Frank, I'm going to tell you about. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Okay, we're back on the bright side talking to Frank in PA. Frank, you there, my friend? Aortic valve stenosis. Okay, you got a little narrowing of the aortic valve, and blood is not getting to the heart. It's causing problem with oxygenation, thus the shortness of breath. So what you got to do is you got to improve oxygenation and circulation. You're having a plumbing problem. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so deep breathing. As soon as you hang up the phone, 15 seconds in, 15 seconds out. Do it as much as you can, at least 3 minutes. That'll give you 2 breaths a minute. So you're looking at 6 breaths over the course of 3 minutes. And if you could do that 3 or 4 times a day, you'll immediately notice an improvement in oxygenation. Secondly, nutritional supplements. We talked about niacin, the B complex. Vitamin C is very important. Keeping your sugar down, stabilizing your sugar. These nutrients will also help you stabilize your sugar. Changing the way you eat, reducing sugar intake, etc. Electrolytes are also important. Magnesium, potassium, calcium, sodium. Use your Healthy Start Pack. That's also going to be important for you. If you have any digestive issues, which you probably do, those need to be corrected as well. A couple miscellaneous nutrients for the circulatory system are zinc. Zinc is also important, but what I was going to say is coenzyme Q10 and vitamin E, which are similar. They're like cousins. Vitamin E 400 IU a day, and then coenzyme Q10, oil soluble, not the powder stuff, but the oil soluble stuff, 100 to 200 milligrams a day. Last but not least, get yourself a rebounder, which is a mini trampoline. Get it off the internet for $60 or so, or you can get it at a sporting goods store, and practice and jump in the morning and jump at night. Just do maybe a minute or 2 minutes of jumping. That will improve your circulatory system and will also improve lymphatic circulation if you have any toxins that are getting into the system, clogging things up, and there's a good chance that that's a problem as well. And then I don't know if you ever heard of an inversion machine. We talked about these inversion devices a couple of a couple of weeks ago, inversion can also sometimes help with circulation. So you have a plumbing problem, you got to improve the circulation, use nutrition, dietary strategies, especially sugar, and then also don't forget about the absolutely vital importance of oxygenation and respiration and deep breathing techniques. None of these require a doctor. None of these have any toxicity. And I would highly encourage you to try these strategies out before you consider letting anybody butcher you in an operating room. Now, they will tell you it's routine. There's no routine surgeries. It's an emergency to the body when they cut you open and they put a stent in and they do anything to your heart. It's a major emergency, and it's nothing you want to do unless you don't have any other options. And you've got plenty of options, Frank. Anything else, my friend?
No, I appreciate it, except do you think that the formula, I mean, if they didn't put the fear of God in me about that I'm going to die any second,
I would try all those alternatives that I just told you about first.
Right.
That's my advice to you. Try all the alternatives first, and then if worse comes to worse and you have I don't know that, I can't imagine that you're not going to notice significant difference. I don't know your health. I'm not there with you, so I don't know all of your health challenges, but I can't imagine that you're not going to notice a difference. I'm sorry, go ahead.
But is one of the formula
There's no one formula. There's no one formula.
No outcome. The outcome of using the formulation, or like you're suggesting, the nutrients, will it expand? My hope is to decalcify the
yes,
valve.
You will improve oxygenation, you'll improve your shortness of breath, you'll improve every single marker of health. How far along you are in the degenerative process, I don't know. So how long it will take and the kind of results you're getting, I can't predict, but I'm just giving you the logic here. There's no way you're not going to feel better. And Frank, listen up, buddy, one last thing, okay? And then I'm going to let you go. I'm telling you, you're going to feel better in 30 seconds, all right? Wow. In 30 seconds, just by sitting on the couch and practicing your deep breathing. Because listen, your problem is you're not getting oxygen. Do you understand that this is the problem? So once you give yourself oxygen, you're going to start to correct the problem. Whether it's going to be a permanent change, you're going to be completely healed, I can't tell you that because I don't know how far along you are, but I can tell you that once you give the body the good stuff, the body will take care of the rest. All right, buddy. Good to talk to you. God bless you.
Thank you so very much.
Good luck, man. Good luck. Angela in Florida, what's going on? How you doing?
Hi, Ben. How are you?
I'm good. What's up? You sound sad.
Ben?
Are you sad?
No. I was a little sick. I have a question for you about that.
Okay.
So I had kind of like a food poisoning episode this weekend, and a lot of everything just completely ejected, vomiting and everything completely out of my digestive system. Couldn't eat for about maybe 2 days, lost 3 pounds. I'm better now. Everything's back to normal. But I suffer from just acne on my face and back, and I noticed the next day all of the inflammation and the bumps went away.
After you threw up?
Yeah, after I threw up pretty much everything, but like the next day after I slept and everything.
Okay. So you cleaned yourself out. You got yourself a nice little cleanse.
Right. So
but you don't want to do that often.
Right. So I'm trying to figure out, was that cleanse and then the disappearance connected? And
they could have been. I can't tell you for sure, but it absolutely could have been. What that tells you is that if that's the case, that something's getting into your system that's causing that problem. Now, you don't want to be vomiting all the time and having diarrhea all the time. Isn't food poisoning the worst? Is that the first time you've had it? Mm-hmm. Oh, my God. It's unbelievable. It's indescribable how miserable that is. I've had it twice. So you don't want to deal with that again, but what you want to do is you want to figure out what was getting into your system that's causing that problem, and that means fasting. All right, fasting is a healthy way to go through all the same things of cleansing that you went through the last couple of days. Fasting is an easier way to do it. So fast for a couple of days, then reintroduce foods back into your system, starting with your favorite foods. This is the fun part, okay? You're going to get to eat all day. You're going to get to eat your favorite food, and then watch what happens. Chances are you're going to break out. All right, so you eliminate that food. And then you keep doing it. This is how you do the elimination diet. You fast for a couple of days, and then you reintroduce foods, starting with your favorite foods, spend all day eating your favorite foods. Now, in addition to that, once you get all the information that you need, then you're going to want to start to strengthen the digestive system. And I know from talking to you in the past that you've had skin problems in the past. So what that means is that you've probably got something you're doing that you think is good or you don't know is bad for you, and you've been doing it over and over and over again, and it's causing you problems. So you got to get to the bottom of that. And the only way to know is by hitting the reset button, stopping everything that's getting into the blood, and that means food, and then reintroducing. And then, of course, you're going to also want to strengthen the digestive system. Angela, I got a bunch of calls here I want to get to. Is there anything specific you want to ask?
No, just the fasting on just water.
Water is the best way. If you don't have to worry about your supplements for a day or two. If you take them, it's not going to be the end of the world. And if you miss them, it's not going to be the end of the world. I would recommend water or lemon water. If you absolutely can't do it with just water or lemon water, get the Suero V from Longevity and do a Suero V cleanse. Suero V cleanse is where you just do Suero V, half a bottle of Suero V every hour, and that gives you some probiotics and some protein as well. All right, I got to move on. Thank you so much for your call, Angela. God bless you. Good luck with everything. I'm sorry to leave. I hate people leaving you guys on hold, so I want to get to as many calls as I can. Sarah in Tennessee, what's up?
Okay, Ben, on my 77th birthday 3 months ago, I had an emergency. I almost had a heart attack, and I had a stent put in. I had one complete blockage in the main coronary artery running from the back of my heart.
Okay.
And so now I'm on Plavix, 75 milligrams, one a day, and a baby aspirin.
Okay.
Now, I have been practicing a healthy diet for years. I do the inversion board. I'm a rebounder, but I don't do that very much. And I'm on Dr. Whitaker's Forward Plus vitamins. I don't eat sugar. I don't drink Sova Pop. I do
well, you
all
sound
those
like you're
kinds
doing
of
everything
things.
right. How the heck did you end up with a
So
stent?
what? I had some kind of lesion in that coronary artery.
Okay. I'm going to run out of time here, so let me give you some
So
information.
what can I do now?
Lots you can do. First of all,
then I can't do away with it.
well, you got a stent now, but we got to improve the circulation. Okay. Now, if you had a healthy diet, you wouldn't have a stent. So let's forget about that.
Well, I had a healthy diet.
Well, we don't know. You only know what a healthy diet is based on what you heard from CNN and your doctor. So you don't know that. Right?
Well,
how do you know what a healthy diet is?
I mean, I've been eating a healthy diet for years. I drink carrot juice. I do all
Well,
the
you don't know.
9 yards.
Sarah, listen, my dear. You sound great, by the way. And for a 77-year-old woman, you sound like you got a lot of life force. I always like that. So here's the deal. And I'm not beating you up. I'm just telling you this because I want to help you, okay?
Okay.
Just because you think you have a healthy diet doesn't mean you do. All right? Okay. Because the information that we're using to assess whether our diet is healthy or not comes from doctors and comes from the mainstream and comes from government authorities, all who are more interested or as interested in selling us things as they are in taking care of our health. So
let me back up.
Let me just finish real quick, Karen.
I get my healthy diet from reading all the nutrition books.
Well, whatever. The point is where there's smoke, there's fire.
Okay.
And so you got smoke, so there's a fire. Okay, the stent and clogged up arteries are a sign that there's a fire. So you can't say, well, I got fire retardant, I have asbestos, I put a fire extinguisher in. It doesn't matter. You got a fire somewhere. So I'm out of time, Sarah, and I want to help you. So you have two options here. You can either call me back tomorrow, which I would love because I want everybody to hear what I'm going to tell you, or you can send me an email, ben@ksco.com, and I'll call you back personally, although I'd rather you call back tomorrow. All right, and I didn't mean to beat you up because you sound great, and God bless you, 77 years old, and sounding that good is awesome. Apologize again if I left you on hold. I try to get to everybody, but it just doesn't happen. Thanks for listening, friends. We'll be back at you tomorrow with more good health information on the bright side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Have a wonderful, awesome, beautiful, spectacular day. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.